if you're watching this from America, gamers are. I don't know if they have game in America. I can't remember, but
it's essentially it's like GameStop, but they're not associated. But essentially, it's a shop over here that predominantly sells and trades console games, computer games, and for years and years, that's what it did. And then they slowly went into the merchandise element of kind of board games and Funkos and stuff like that. And more recently, they're stocking everything from Black Series to Marvel Legends to like Pokemon to Harry Potter to Lego.
Star
Wars,
everything.
So there you go in there and it's a real kind of geek. I mean, actually, I tell you what, the last 10 times I've been in that shop hasn't been to look at a computer game. Like I went in there to look at the merchandise stuff. But yeah, something big happened this week, and that was that they just reduced down a lot of their Hasbro products by a ridiculous amount.
Fire sale.
Yeah, it was. If somebody had told me that game was going bust, and that's why they were selling these at that price, I would have believed them.
But everything that wasn't Hasbro was still full priced. Yeah, normal price.
But it was all new stuff as well, relatively new stuff. So some of the figures, for example, Spider-Man. There we go. So Spider-Man mask,
30 quid,
£30.
Price in it.
Stealth shield, 30 quid.
£30. They also had the Nano Gauntlet, the Tony Stark version for £30 or £29.99.
£30 Transformers down to a £5.
They had, and a lot of the new Marvel Legends, so like the retro carded Loki, White Vision, Scarlet Witch, those things were down to $5.99. A lot of the newer waves like Shriek was $5.99. Deadpool 2 Cable was down to like $5.99. They had the Old Man Logan and Hawkeye 2-pack down to $10.99. Absolutely ridiculous. And
the hallway went down to £17. I think Ash said.
Yeah, 24 got posted last night.
Unfortunately, our game because I desperately had a quick look.
I'm just getting.
It was the kind of thing that if you had gone in the morning that these reductions gone down, if you'd gone in the morning with enough money in your pocket, you could have doubled your collection, or some people could have doubled their collection for a fraction of the price.
Yeah,
like just fraction of the price.
I got what I got because I happened to be in town first thing in the morning. I was like, actually, because I didn't believe it. I thought it was one of those internet things. And because you guys said about it and you sent the pictures, I went and checked it out, and I got lucky.
I've just gone back and looked on my video quickly, and they even had like the Ghostbusters plasma series were all marked down, $8.99. Then they even had the Iron Man 1 set with the old dude and the big silver. I don't know what that set's called.
The Ironmonger.
Yeah, the Ironmonger from the Infinity War saga box set.
Yeah. How much was that?
10 quid.
No way.
That's $9.99 for Ironmonger. It's on my video. You can go check it out. But yeah, they got everything's marked down. Every single thing on that shelf is marked down. Then they had on the second shelf was all the newer stuff. Then the third shelf was all the Star Wars stuff, but a lot of that had been ransacked by the time I got there. And they had these two things on the floor, which was just everything was £2 inside these boxes, and it was just full of like Hasbro tatty stuff. You know, like the Venoms that came in the slimes.
Mm-hmm.
You had like a little blind box Venom thing, and you got like a slime monster inside of him or something. There was like a load of them were marked down to £1 each, and they were like £8 when they first came out. There were a load of random like Hasbro products like that. All the Shang-Chi minis, all them were all marked down for like £1 each.
It's ridiculous.
Could this be like the end of the relationship between Game and Hasbro?
I think it has
was
to
obviously
be
owned by Sports Direct, and I just can't see that any other way it would have worked.
I just can't. It's funny you should mention that, actually, because Sports Direct, some of the figures were showing up in there as well. I know a couple of people picked up figures there, but what made me really mad, and mad is the right way to sum it up, because I was really disappointed that I wasn't able to get down and pick up something there. But what made me really mad is that people, for the first time in a long time, we saw something in the community groups that we haven't seen for a while, and that's people just buying stuff for the sake of it. There was literally people just posting pictures of, I got this, and this. Like I didn't want to buy it, and it's just, but for that price, I could not. And then you know that they're not interested in those. And then on the flip side, there'll be somebody that would really want one of those figures, that would absolutely relish in the fact of being able to get it cheap, or maybe actually only be able to afford it because it was cheap, who are now missing out because somebody else picked it up because they were in there at the right time. Like that's not aimed at you, Ryan. Like that's I know you collect. I know you collect your merchandise. But you've got so many helmets and stuff like that. Makes sense. Like
that's the thing. Even though these were sort of lower on my list, they were on my list, and that's the thing. They're ones that, because of how expensive they are, like a Spider-Man helmet was over 100 quid. It still is in HMV. The shield is well over 100 quid. I can't really justify big purchases like that very often. But actually, I just sold a bunch of Star Trek graphic novels the other day, and I was like, they're just like you said, because of the price they are. I was like, actually, I am going to get them now because they're never going to be this cheap again. Actually, I can now justify the expense. But you are right. There was definitely people that probably went there, and I think would have just stockpiled on stuff because, maybe some people will just get caught up in the excitement of things being so cheap, and will just innocently go, "Oh, cheap Hasbro," just. Ah. Other people will be getting it, waiting 2 months, and full well they're going to be starting to flood eBay.
These figures are already on eBay, and interestingly enough, like the Hawkeye Logan 2-pack, that was the first one that kind of hinted that things were coming because they were the ones that people were picking up, and straight away there was more of them on sale in the groups for £25, £30 with I had this for ages and I wanted to sell it. There was more of those on the groups than I've seen. I haven't seen one on the groups for sale for a long time because they were the kind of, at the price they were like £45, £50, whatever. You only bought it if you wanted it because it was Logan and Old Man Hawkeye. Like that wasn't a set that you would, it wasn't something that you would pick up just on a whim. Like, but then there was more of them for sale. And I know that, there will be the exceptions to the rule where people did have them and they were getting out of it or looking to flog it on or whatever. But too many coincidences, so, and that's what made me sad, I think, is that, a prime example is that, when you went and picked up that Spider-Man helmet, you said that there was half a dozen in the store and they were gone by the end of the day. Now there is not, I refuse to believe that there's that many people that wanted that helmet, but kind of sat back and kind of went, oh, I'll wait till it's £30 to get it. Because they would have bought it already, or they would have invested. I don't know. There's people buying stuff to flip it, and it just really gets my skin up. Like really gets under my skin.
I'm not a big fan of scalping. I think it ruins it. But because there was loads of Transformers there, but they weren't ones I collected. I text some of my, friends afterwards, like and I messaged obviously you in the group saying like they had this because again I got really excited, and also I don't know if you ever tried to walk home with a Spider-Man helmet and a shield. The boxes are fucking massive. One, you get weird looks, but two, it's actually quite a challenge. But I messaged loads of people afterwards saying, you should go down there. Like some of my friends who collect Transformers, like there was nothing there that I collect. But I did find myself almost tempted to go, oh, but for £5 maybe. And I thought, no, because I don't actually collect that, so I'm not going to get it. I got myself a Tigertron because he was a cartoon, like he was a favorite of mine in the cartoon growing up. But they had loads of other ones there, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's quite cool. I thought, no, and everything. I want to keep. I'm trying to thin out my collection, He says buying a fucking life-size shield, but
it's but it is interesting because you check out any of the other websites like Hasbro Pulse, Zavvi, HMV, like all those kind of things, all the independent retailers, and those items aren't reduced down. They're in sales, but like the Spider-Man helmet's still close to 100 quid.
The shield is, and they were stocked up in the HMV windows. I walked past the HMV. Having just paid £30 with their £108 one in the window.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that so it's not the case of that the products are being thrown out or thinned out or anything. I think that we are witnessing the end of Hasbro Products in game.
Yeah,
and everyone's getting really excited, but I think you actually need to step back and go, that's one of your brick and mortar stores where you're picking figures up that you are not going to be able to pick figures up anymore.
Yeah, I'm genuinely gutted about the idea there because I've picked up some great bargains in there, and but even things that I've not been able to find, like Smiths and stuff like that, I've actually found in there. Like there's been particular Transformers, some of the retro collection. You got that Grey Hulk in there. It's oh god, sorry, no, I just oh god, right. Stop! Yes, don't right. hate me.
The 3 game purchases you beat me
fair, but have I not also?
Yes, you have.
With Grey Hulk in hand, going, "Do you want it?"
Yes, you have.
But I am gutted that it's another shop that's obviously clearly going to be moving away from it because the Entertainer doesn't seem to get much new in anymore. It just seems to be older stock that they don't seem to be able to shift. It just seems to sit there, but nothing
Yeah.
new gets added to it. HMV is, I think, going to be our last sort of port of call for non-Smiths sort of.
But how old are some of the figures that are in HMV now? They're gathering dust and peg warming to hell.
Yeah.
And how long before HMV decide the same? We can't shift these. Games already done it. How long is it until HMV decides let's call it quits?
I think the problem with HMV is HMV have got the Hut Group behind them, so there's all of the, that product. I don't think you'll see them reduced down in there. They'll just disappear off the shelf. Yeah, they'll just disappear off the shelf, and you won't get them. But recently, Smiths did a big price cut, didn't they? There was things like that Modoc showing up for like £12 and figures for £2. And I think these people that are running out
for like a £5, actually. Yeah, that makes sense.
These people that are just kind of running out and buying things that they weren't interested in buying before, essentially are just digging the hole quicker. I think that, that's two big like street retailers that provide a lot of people these figures that essentially are showing signs of getting out of that game.
But I guess when people are pre-ordering the waves on like Star Action Figures, Kapow, Comics and Cocktails.
Comics and Cocktails, yeah.
Yeah, the waves come. I mean, because like Star Action Figures, where I used to get most of my with Marvel Retro and stuff like that. I've just actually got dispatch notice about the new wave of Marvel Retro figures. The four.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They out already?
Not due to like August apparently, but they're on their way. Really odd. I was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but then it means there's going to be a really big gap now between me getting those and something else. I kind of liked the idea as August because I thought maybe something would come January.
But speaking of retailers, and in that respect, like people talk about the price hike of figures, and let me just talk very quickly about like the Thor Love and Thunder wave and Jigsaw. So those figures all came out. Now that was 7 figures in the wave and a builder figure, so that's 8 figures, and Jigsaw made 9 figures. When you actually worked out the combined price of buying them all from somewhere like Comics and Cocktails, where you get your free shipping and stuff, it worked out at less than £18 a figure. So, or just over £18 a figure. That's not a big price hike. When you're looking at them individually at like £26, £25, and people are complaining about this. But then when you do buy them as a whole wave from an independent retailer that can do things like free shipping over this much money, or, combined shipping on X, Y, and Z, you're not paying that much more. And that's why I think these high street stores are going to die a death when it comes to the figures, because they can't justify selling something for the hiked up price when the independent retailers who have been there long before them and will be there long after them are able to do those deals to actually get the customers the savings, but still make the profits themselves.
Yeah, and they can't survive on just casual punters.
Let's not forget, companies like In Demand and Kapow are genuinely for people like us. Then the game is mass retail, and as much as I would love for Marvel Legends and Black Series to be classed as mass retail, they're not. They're niche products. They're for a certain market, and game doesn't cater to that market. They like to think they do, but they don't.
No.
So
it is what it is.
Over the years, they have sold the occasional figure that has sold well in the stores. Like when Battlefront 2 came out, and they gave us the Black Series Battlefront 2 figure.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get many in. They only got like each store got 2 or 3 or something like that. And they were really hard to come by, if I remember right. Like, I remember going to at least 3 or 4 game stores to try and hunt that figure down.
Yeah.
And then things just got a little bit too, like every figure was appearing in every store, and I think that's where the downfall came. They just overstocked. A little out of hand. Yeah, they just overstocked everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting. It's definitely made the groups interesting this week, seeing the variety there.